Jim? No, sir. Let's do it Acapulco, okay? Here we go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Join me in our pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, Bill Shealy with our invocation today.
As you know, we lost a good Rotarian last week, Paul Angeloff, and most of you know him, I guess, is we worked at the botanical gardens and things like that, but I knew Paul from almost 50 years ago when he was at Chattanooga Industrial Railroad, and he became a good friend and client at that time. I know we're all going to miss him, so I'd like to have, if you would bow your head and let's have a moment of silence, Paul. Father, we thank you for the life of Paul Angeloff. He was a great Rotarian, a great man, and he will be missed. We ask that you be with his family at this time. We ask that you bless this club, the members that are in it, and the practice service above self. Please bless this food to nourish my bodies and us to your service. We ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sheila. All right, Miss Cynthia Green is going to do Family of Rotary today.
Thank you, Josh. Good afternoon, everyone. There are no birthdays this week in our Rotary Club. That is very unusual, isn't it? But we do have anniversaries, which is heartwarming. So, not here today, but Bruce McNeil and Angela will be celebrating on August the 8th, followed by Walter and Melanie Hill on August the 9th. How many years, Walter? 25. Really? That was quick and unusual. Way to go, Walter. And then Archie, Solomon, and Tracy. I saw them come in. How many years? This must be longer than 25, but happy anniversary on August
37.
37. Very good. Happy anniversary to all of you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With our introduction of guests and visiting Rotarians, Seth Brooks.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized. Dr. Ashley Wilkins, guest of Dr. Linda Young, and Christopher King, guest of Robert Ferguson. Are there any visitors we may miss? Thank you and welcome.
All right, Troy is coming forward with our Can't Pass the Drawing. All right, 484 points. All right, the last four digits, 6744. Yeah. Six of hearts. Sure, yes, sir. All right, the agenda is pretty light today. Thank you, President Greg. The only announcement we have today is about the upcoming Love Dothan service opportunity that the city of Dothan does every few months. The date of the upcoming cleanup will be the 20th of this month. It'll be from 8 a.m. to noon that day, and we'll be working in the Morris Haven neighborhood directly across from the farm center. So if you want to help out with that, let me know. I know Sheila is usually very involved, and Alan as well, so it'd be good to have a good group that day. That's all we have for announcement today, so I'm going to turn it over to Dean to introduce our speaker.
Josh. Chris Warren has been the director of the Dothan Houston County Library System since September of 2020. Chris previously held positions with the Auburn Public Library, the Chattahoochee Valley Libraries, the Gwinnett County Public Library, and the University of Georgia Libraries. He has a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Georgia and a master's degree in library science from Florida State University. He has presented at conferences hosted by the Alabama Library Association, the Public Library Association, and the American Library Association. Chris is a 2015 Public Library Association Leadership Academy Fellow and a past president of the Dothan Rotary Club. He lives in Dothan with his wife, Melissa, who teaches at Troy University, and their daughter, Aubrey, who is 4 and loves unicorns. 4 is a great age. I have gotten to know Chris both personally and professionally, and I can tell you we are extremely blessed to have him in our community. He is a very civic-minded and collaborative gentleman, and we have had events together at the chamber where he's led great discussions about strategic planning. So Chris, we appreciate the great work you're doing in our community. We look forward to your presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
That was quite the introduction. I will do my best to live up to it. But I'm very happy to be here today, very happy to provide all of you with a little bit of an update on what we're doing at the Dothan Houston County Library System. Share a little bit about some of the things that I think we stereotypically think about when we think about public libraries, but also some of the things that we do that are a little outside the box. So I'm very happy to be here, very proud to be here with you today to share this update and to tell you all a little bit about what we have going on. Josh specifically said, turn it on, Chris. And that is the thing I forgot to do. There we go. Okay. So I worked in libraries for 18, 19 years, and I will go ahead and tell you that entire time, I've still got questions about, do people still go to the public library? And the reality is that yes, they very much do still go to the public library. And there's some really interesting research that shows some of the populations that we stereotypically think probably don't go to the library are in fact the ones that are using it the most. It's your late Gen Yers, your Gen Zers, they're the ones who are in fact really using public libraries, who still really like print resources, who still really like print books. So to give you a little bit of a snapshot about what our patrons here in Dothan and Houston County borrowed last year, this is all from FY21, so this data is a little bit old, and keep in mind this is all still pandemic data. But last year our patrons borrowed over 113,000 books. Now those are print books, so that's ink and paper. 39,442 ebooks, 14,000 DVDs and audiobooks, and 5,033 other items, which those are some items we have that sort of defy classification. And I'll talk a little bit about what those are in a minute. But all total, that means that in 1 year, our patrons borrowed over 179,000 items. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is, well, with everything being digital, with everything being online, do people still in fact read print books? And the reality is, yes, they do, because of those 179,825 items. You have 26% are books for adults, 3% are books for young adults and teens, 37% are books for juveniles. So that's 2/3 of everything that went out of our library last year was a print book. And then we can round out the rest of that with audio visuals, that's your DVDs and your audiobooks, and then digital, which would be our ebooks. That makes almost a quarter of what people borrowed from the library last year. And then finally, you have that super weird yellow sliver there for the other 3%, the 5,033 items that defy classification a little bit, I'll talk about. So that's a little bit about how people use our collections and how people use the physical resources that we have in the library. What I want to talk about a little bit next are some of the programs and partnerships that we have throughout our community that we're really, really proud of. This past school year, for example, we partnered with the Bright Key program at Selden Street Elementary School. We had a team of youth services librarians who would go in once a month to the 4th and 5th grade classrooms at Selden Street and provide hands-on STEAM learning activities. So that's science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. It's basically sort of an enriching supplement to whatever the kids were learning in the classroom with their classroom teachers. We got really, really great feedback about this. It was an opportunity for our youth services staff to show off some of the things that they're really proud of. These include things like robotics training, drones, 3D printing. This is some really cool cutting edge technology that these kids, I don't want to say just play with, because they don't just play with it. Like, these are directed learning activities that these kids get to have. That then builds their confidence with some of these cutting edge 21st century skills. They become very curious about technology. We know that that's where a lot of the careers of the future are going to be, or where they already are. So this gives them an opportunity to sort of develop that comfort and that confidence that then helps them be successful in school and in life. Next, back in about a year ago, actually, we dedicated a story walk at Walton Park in Dothan. This is the second story walk that we have here in our community. I know of several public libraries that have one story walk in their community. We're the only one that I know of that has two. A story walk, just so that you all know, is basically a walking trail with various stations along the walking trail, each of which has a page from a children's book. So as you go along the trail, you read the first page, you go to the next station, you read the second page, you go to the next station, you read the third page, and so on and so on and so on. Ours is pretty unique in that we change these stories out about every 2 to 3 months. We try to make them kind of seasonal, so like around Valentine's Day, we got a story about love. In the fall, we'll find a book about leaves changing and things like that. We'll put up a Christmas book or a holiday themed book in December. But this is probably the happiest I've ever seen Commissioner Dorsey with those really big scissors. So if I can make him that happy, then we probably did something right. But we're really proud of this, the fact that now when you say you're going to the story walk here in Dothan, you have to specify which story walk you are going to. And it's just a really unique partnership we have with the city of Dothan, with their leisure services department and their general services department. And we're really proud of how this has taken shape. Basically, we provide the stories, we provide the fixtures, they install them and maintain them. So that works out really, really well. And the city of Dothan has been a really good partner to us. We're very happy with it. Josh mentioned this a little bit a minute ago, but we have a very civic-minded, volunteer-minded staff at the Dothan Houston County Library System. Of all of the Love Your Neighborhood cleanups that the city of Dothan has done, I believe the library has missed 2. We've missed 1 in the past, and we're going to miss the one coming up in August. I'll explain why we're going to miss the one coming up in a couple of weeks, or in a week here in a minute. But we love doing these. We always have a really good turnout. We'll have anywhere between 8 and a dozen of our employees who show up with trash bags, gloves, rakes, hedge trimmers, leaf blowers, edgers. If you didn't know librarians could do yard work, believe it or not, we can. We're really quite good at it, as demonstrated by what we do at the Love Your Neighborhood events. But like I said, we've only missed 2 of these. And whenever we did need to put out a call for volunteers to do this, we have no shortage of people willing to turn up. The only time we've ever missed them was just because of the scheduling conflict that prevented us. But we always have a really good turnout for this, and I'm really proud of that. We just wrapped up our summer reading program, Oceans of Possibilities. Every summer reading program has a theme. This past summer reading program theme was very aquatic, very oceanic. We have the group of narwhals and the octopus, penguins. Our summer reading program, I think, is probably one of the signature events that any public library can do. Ours is no exception. And when I think people think about the summer reading program on face, what they see is giving kids something to do during the summer, trying to engage them in reading, trying to get them into an air-conditioned building when it's 100 degrees outside. Then you also have all of the fun activities like puppet shows and magic shows and things like that. And I'll go ahead and tell you, summer reading programs are fun, summer reading programs are awesome, but there's a lot of serious stuff going on underneath the surface as far as summer reading is concerned. For kids who don't read during the summer months, they will actually lose some of the literacy skills and some of the learning that they gained in the previous school year. So when they re-enter school in the fall, they can be anywhere between a month and 2 months behind their classmates who did read during the summer months. What's important here is that that learning loss is cumulative. So that means that yes, you might get caught up that year, but then you're going to be 2 months behind here, you're going to be 4 months behind the next year, 6 months behind the next year, and so on and so on and so on. And research shows that if you're not, that means that by the time you get to 5th grade, you could be stuck reading at a 3rd grade reading level. Research also shows that if you're not reading on grade level at the end of 5th grade, chances are you will never be reading on grade level. Doesn't mean you'll stay at 3rd grade, but it means you'll never catch up. You're looking at about 2 years of learning that is lost. The summer reading program is essential because it engages kids in reading, it engages kids in literacy activities, and we make it fun so that those kids, when they re-enter school in the fall, are already where they need to be, where they left off in the previous school year. So don't get me wrong, they're awesome, they're fun, we love them, they get people in the door. Every data point that we keep track of always goes up during the summer, but I always want to impress on people, it's not just fun. There's a lot of really essential learning that goes on during these summer months. This past year, we launched a service, an online resource called Job Now, that will allow people who need help with their resume, people who need help writing a cover letter, people who need help preparing for an interview to get live one-on-one chat-based assistance with a trained certified career coach. This is really helpful for somebody who might be just re-entering the job market, who really needs to brush up their resume, kind of make it nice. We know, with the pandemic, a lot of people are starting to re-enter the job market. It is obviously very competitive, right? Different job market for sure than it was a couple of years ago. But we know that people are going to start re-entering that job market. This is a really helpful resource for those individuals who might need a little bit of coaching to improve their resume, might need a little bit of coaching to prepare for some common interview questions. And it goes beyond just Googling an immediate result. It actually connects you with somebody who is trained, somebody who knows what they're talking about, who can provide you with that personalized assistance as you're going into that. Another project that we're very excited about is the relocation of our Ashford branch. This was made possible through a generous donation by Davis Malone at Mid-South Bank. What you see here on the screen is actually the event where we celebrated the donation that they made to the library. If you look in the lower right of that picture, yeah, you're right. This is the old Mid-South Bank IT data center in downtown Ashford, which the Davis Malone actually donated to the Ashford Downtown Redevelopment Authority, who will in turn donate it to the Dothan Houston County Library System. And we will renovate it to be our new Ashford branch. We have a branch in Ashford right now, but it's very much removed from the downtown. It's very separated from the heart of the community. So we're excited about this because what this will do is it will literally put the public library in downtown Ashford. It's absolutely as close to the heart of the community as you can get. When we renovate it, you'll see in the upper left where we have a rendering of what the front entrance will look like. This is going to be about a 3,500 square foot building all total. So it's a little bit bigger than the building that we have right now. It will be like I said, in the heart of downtown Ashford, which of course we're really excited about. If you look below the rendering, we have kind of a general outline of what the facility itself will look like. We've made a point to make sure you've got ample space for a collection. You have ample comfortable seating. So if somebody wants to sit and read a book or use the computers, they'll be able to do so. We've also made a point when we talk about this facility that it's going to feel like you're walking into our main library or our Westgate branch just on a smaller scale. I think that's really important. When you walk into a Target, when you walk into a Starbucks, when you walk into a Publix, you do not need to see the sign for the store to know that that is the space that you have walked in. That's because of certain qualities that those stores have emphasized so well to make them consistent and high quality. Our main library, our Westgate branch, they feel the same in terms of the aesthetics and in terms of the layout when you walk inside. So we want to hold the new Ashford branch to that same standard. So we're working with the same architectural team that did the main library, Westgate branch, talking about the same kinds of finishes, the same quality of finishes. And we are incredibly excited about this. One other thing about putting this in downtown Ashford, we're not just looking at this as a library project, we're looking at this as an economic development project. We're looking at this as an investment in the Ashford community, because for people who go to the library to attend story time, or use the computers to look for jobs, or who go just to check out the book for whatever the book club meeting they're attending later that week, those same people will then go to the Bean Press, get a cup of coffee, they'll go to Big Mike's and get lunch, they'll go to Dave's Pizza and get dinner. So we're looking at this as something that will be a attractor for downtown Ashford, that will drive continued economic success in that community. We're obviously very excited about being part of that. Showed you on one of the first slides that about a quarter of everything that we circulated in this past year has been an ebook. Do we have any ebook users in the room? Please raise your hand if I didn't see a couple. That's great. If you're borrowing books from Audible or Amazon or other resources that you might pay for, I really encourage you to check out the Southeast Alabama Digital Library. This is actually a cooperative consortium between ourselves and two other libraries in the area, two other library systems in the area. Those are Enterprise and the Hartford Public Library. We've made a point to scale this the right way so that we can really effectively serve the needs of our community. I know that sounds like a word salad. Let me explain what I mean by that. There is a statewide ebook consortium called CameliaNet. And the problem with CameliaNet, well, the great thing about CameliaNet is that it serves the entire state of Alabama. The bad thing about CameliaNet is that it serves the entire state of Alabama. So you've got a very huge population putting a lot of demand on that ebook consortium. So we actually made the decision with Hartford and Enterprise to break away from CameliaNet and start our own. And that, it's had some hiccups along the way, but all in all, it's worked out. And now I'll go ahead and say we have evidence that it is working. First of all, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of titles available instantly that you do not have to wait for. If you were to download this app right now on your phone, if you were to log in with your library card, if you were to search for Southeast Alabama Digital Library, you could click available now and you will find a slew of titles that are available to you. In the event that the book you want is popular, you have to wait. Your average wait time is going to be 13 and a half days, so a little less than 2 weeks. With the statewide consortium, that wait time is over 110 days. So we're really proud of the fact that we've been able to define that population a little bit more specifically, a little smaller. We're able to customize that collection to what we know the interests and needs of that population are and build the collection accordingly. So I keep saying we're really proud of that. I really am. We're just up to a lot of cool stuff here at the Dothan County Library System. One thing I do want to point out, when you access the Southeast Alabama Digital Library through the Libby app, this includes print ebooks. So if you want to read the actual words on the screen, you can. It also includes e-audio. So you can download those to your phone and listen to them just like you would through an Audible or some other resource. What that means is you can then download that on your phone. If your car has Bluetooth, your phone has Bluetooth, you can just Bluetooth it directly from your phone to the speakerphone in the car and listen to it that way. I listened to an entire Neil deGrasse Tyson book about astrophysics that way when I had a long drive. It made the drive go very quickly. It was actually a really good book too. It was called like Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. So it was like really high level stuff. One other resource I want to talk about real quick is Canopy. There's Canopy and there's Canopy Kids. And there's really two resources that are under the same umbrella, but this Canopy is a streaming video service, so if any of you use Hulu, Netflix, Prime Video, anything like that, Canopy is a free resource that is available to you through your public library. It primarily includes documentaries, Academy Award-winning films, some higher brow, I guess you could say, entertainment. There's also Canopy Kids, which is the children's version of this. This includes some educational programming, a lot of PBS Kids type things. You can actually see the characters from Dinosaur Train and Babar, the elephant on the little banner that we have right there. I will say Canopy Kids was something I got into in April of 2020. I think we can all kind of remember where we were in April of 2020, and I needed something to entertain my daughter, who was 2 at the time. And we got really into Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Peg and Cat. So we learned all about how to be a good neighbor, and we learned all about basic math that went. Thank God for Canopy, I'll just say that. And so much more. This is the 5,033 objects and services that kind of defy classification. We have a passport service at the Dothan Houston County Library System. I think that might be one of the best kept secrets in this town. I hate that it's a best kept secret. I want everybody to know that if you need to apply for a passport, you can use your local public library to do that. The Westgate branch has gotten so busy with this that we have had to go to appointment only at the Westgate branch. But the main library, it's Monday through Friday, normal operating business hours. You can come by, we will get you, we will help you with your passport. We have over a dozen State Department certified passport agents on staff, all of whom are really good at this. They can answer every question you can possibly imagine. They know every step, every nook, every cranny about the entire passport application process. We can help you with renewals too. My understanding is you don't really need to go through us to do renewals, but if you're applying for a passport for the first time, we are more than happy to help you with that. We also have a seed library. We have a small one of these at our main library and a bigger one of these at our Westgate branch, but a seed library is exactly what it sounds like. It is a library for seeds. We have a handful of herbs, I think we have a few vegetables and maybe a few flowers in here, but the idea is we have free seed packets. You take them home and you grow them. And that's it. If you're able to go so far as to cultivate whatever seeds those herbs generate, or those flowers generate, or those vegetables generate, we want you to bag them up and bring them back to us, and that's how they circulate. That's how the seed, y'all see what I'm doing? That's how the seed library remains self-sustaining. That said, the seeds don't come back. We don't care, because the way that we look at it is we've engaged some people in some botany, minor league horticulture, or whatever you want to call it. And maybe people check out some books about gardening and growing flowers and seeds in our routines. We also have our library of things. I have worked in a bunch of different libraries. I have never worked in one that had a library of things. The idea behind this is that it might be things that you really only need once or twice in your life that you probably don't actually want to pay for if you didn't have to. We have a pressure washer. We have a leaf blower. We have an electrical test kit. We have a outdoor movie projector and screen. So if you want to show a campfire movie in your backyard, you can do that. And that's just, I named maybe like 5 or 6 things. This Library of Things collection has 30 or 40 things in it that you may only want to use once or twice. Maybe you don't want to buy a pressure washer. Maybe you just want to do that on your own, then you can. We also have our Connect Pass, which is a platform, I guess you could call it a resource for people to have access to tickets for local attractions. The selection varies, but it can include things like Landmark Park. It can include passes for various shows at SEACT. We've had them for Waterworld, because I can't think of a better attraction in Dothan than Waterworld. The selection kind of varies based on what's open, what's going on, but we know a lot of people who use this to take their family out on an outing that they might not otherwise be able to do. We also have Treehouse, which if you've ever wanted to learn a computer language or some basic web design or coding or things like that, Treehouse actually has live classes that you can use to develop those skills through, again, kind of like Job Now, you have certified instructors helping you with that. And then finally, we have our local history collection. This is available at our main library, but it is It has so many records on genealogy, on camera, or not cameras, pictures of historic Houston County, historic Dothan, all across the Wiregrass. We have a lot of people who use this resource to research their family trees, kind of trace a little bit about their lineage and where they're from. So that resource sees a lot of use as well. We also have, I believe it's 112, it's either 110 or 112 years of the Dothan Eagle on the microfilm that we got an LSTA grant this year to digitize it. We're looking forward to getting all of that in an online format to make it easier to search. So as far as I know, we have the only collection. I think we have the last microfilm. So if something were to happen to it, it would be gone. So digitizing it, we see it as kind of an insurance policy to make sure nothing can happen to it. In my introduction, Dean mentioned that my wife teaches at Troy University. She teaches public speaking and communication. One of the things that she has said is whenever you speak to a crowd, you need to have a call to action. So she's not here right now, but I wish she was, so she would know that I do in fact listen to her, and here is the call to action. So if you're really excited about everything that I've talked about, I hope you are, and you want to support your public library, we have made that really easy in the past year. It used to be really hard, but we've made it incredibly easy now. You can go to our homepage, which is dhcls.org, and then over on the right under About Us, you'll see a button that says Support, and you will click that. You can also just go straight to www.dhcls.org/support. When you do that, you can click a button that says Donate, and then that will take you to this page where you can donate online to your local public library. If you want to donate one time, that's great. You want to donate on a monthly basis, kind of like NPR has its sustainers, and you want to be one of our sustainers, you can do that. You can also donate in honor or in memory of someone. So if there's someone in your life who is just an avid reader, or someone who was in your life who was an avid reader and a library supporter, you can make a donation in memory or in honor of them. We will automatically send you an email confirming the details of your donation, so you can use that for your tax purposes or whatever. We'll also add you to our mailing list so that you can keep up to date with all kinds of things that we have going on at the library, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. And if you did not get that URL the first time, it is www.dhcls.org/support. If you would rather do more than just give, you can also volunteer with our Friends of the Library. We are a little special in the public library is a 501c3 with a 501c3 that supports it, and that is our Friends of the Library. They are an entirely volunteer-driven group. Everly Bolton is the president of the Friends group. She's also a member of the library board, but they are I have no words just for how amazing and hardworking, and considering that they're entirely volunteer-driven, what they're able to do for the libraries is really amazing. They typically host ongoing mini book sales at each of our locations, so you can go to any of our libraries and search the tables that we have set up, buy some books for $1 or $2. They also host big book sales, typically twice a year, usually in the spring and the fall. We're looking at a fall one tentatively in October. We're still trying to finalize the dates for that. Hopefully that will come together soon. All total, the Friends were able to write a check to the library in January for $40,000. And I think it's worth noting that one, all of that was volunteer driven, and two, that's $40,000 from selling books for $1 or $2 each. They say it takes a village. In our case, it takes a Friends group, and we're really proud of them. So if I've not gotten you excited about just donating outright to the library, and I haven't gotten you excited about volunteering for the Friends, I hope I get you excited about the DHCLS first annual Library Mini Golf Classic. Who likes mini golf? Who likes drinking? Awesome. Y'all are my people. So this is a fundraiser event that this is, like I said, first annual. That's what you do the first time you do it. So hopefully you can build some excitement around it. But we have a really great fundraising committee that has helped put this together. And I should add the Library Mini Golf Classic presented by Mike Schmidt's Automotive Group, because they are our presenting sponsor for this year. This is actually a 2-day event. We have the Library Mini Golf Classic. This is going to be on Saturday, August 20th from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is a 21 and up event. Tickets are $50 each, but that includes 2 drink tickets, heavy appetizers from KBC, and the opportunity to play 18 holes of mini golf inside the main library in beautiful downtown Dothan. How are we going to get mini golf in that library? There is a company that literally does only this. They work with public libraries all across the country. They set up mini golf in your library, and you can either do it just as a fun event to get people in the door, or you can do it as a fundraiser. We're looking at this as a cool fundraiser event. And I know that Saturday, August 20th is the day of the Love Your Neighborhood cleanup. So y'all are all going to go to the Love Your Neighborhood cleanup. You're all going to get tired and sweaty. And that night, you're going to want to blow off some steam with some light beer and wine and 18 holes of mini golf, again, inside the main library in beautiful downtown Dothan. We are incredibly, if y'all cannot tell, I am just so excited. So our logic was this is going to take a long time to set up. So what if we left it up and we had a kind of a part 2 to this event? That's why we have the Library Mini Golf Family Fun Day. This is not a 21 and up event. This is an all ages event. This is sort of the family friendly version of it. We are not going to have, beer, wine, heavy appetizers or anything like that. But if you cannot make it to the Saturday event, I really hope you make it to the Sunday one. We're going to have some food trucks set up outside. So there will be, we are going to have some food options because it won't be quite as highbrow, I guess, as KBC. I have tickets for both of these events in my bag right now. So if you are interested in purchasing tickets from me today, you can. If not, you can go to dhcls.org/golf, GOLF. That'll provide you with more information about the event as well as links where you can buy tickets to either of these. I will go ahead and tell you, these are not necessarily competitive. I am not a competitive person. I married a competitive person. So if you ever worry about opposites attracting, they do. You can make this competitive if you want. It's really good. But as far as I'm concerned, if some people show up, they hit a ball around with a couple of clubs and they have a good time. We're going to have a silent auction as well. And it's the Saturday event. I'm genuinely really excited about that. So again, that website is dhcls.org/golf to purchase tickets. I'm going to leave y'all with this thought kind of on a serious note, or a slightly more serious note. But I've talked about all these different things that public libraries make available to their communities, how we support learning, how we support economic development. I cannot think of any other institution that supports curiosity and tries to get people to be creative, tries to give people resources they need to basically pursue whatever it is that they're curious about, whatever it is that they want to do with their lives. So when we did our last strategic plan, we interviewed a number of community leaders. We interviewed all of our board members. We interviewed some folks from nonprofits, things like that. And I've done these a lot in my career, and I've learned that people will let you record them, actually get a tape recorder out. I just showed my age, the recorder, and record it. You will capture some truly quotable pieces of wisdom through that entire process. And there are things that I wouldn't want to be trying to scribble it down, live in the moment, but when they say it, you can just transcribe it later. It's really wonderful. So anyway, when we did our last strategic plan, this was something that I could not have said anything as eloquent as what this person said. When we asked about, what kind of value public libraries bring to their communities, she said this: libraries are a fantastic place for communities to gather, for individuals to be inspired, for individuals to better themselves, for individuals to have opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise. Libraries are places of hope. Put that on your coffee mug, put that on a t-shirt. I could not have said any of that better myself. There are so many things that this public library here, and public libraries in general, make possible. And I think it really does come down to hope. And I'll leave y'all with this thought too. I've worked in Gwinnett County outside of Atlanta. I've worked in the Chattahoochee Valley Libraries in Columbus. I've worked for the University of Georgia. I've worked for the Auburn Public Library. We are a 3-branch system with a bookmobile in Southeast Alabama. And I guarantee you, we are as innovative and as creative and as scrappy as any other public library in the state, possibly. And when you think about that, you think about communities like Mountain Brook, you think of communities like Hoover, who have a lot more resources than we do. But I guarantee you, we love this community. We want to do great things for this community. And what we're able to do with the resources that we have, it's a real loaves and fishes kind of thing. And I'm really, really, I'm just really, really proud of that. That's what I got. Thank y'all. Do y'all have any questions or anything? For the record, I can make this a 5-minute talk or a 5-hour talk. All I was told is make sure y'all can leave by 1. So I'm doing what I can to abide by that. So does anybody have any questions? And I was a teacher, and I know when you say, does anybody have any questions? Time stops moving for you, it keeps moving for me. Yes.
How many paid staff do you have among the 3 libraries?
Right now we have 31. And it's about a 50-50 split. About 50% of those are full-time, about half of those are part-time. Yes.
I know you know that the old library used to be, right where y'all are. I wonder if anybody here knows where the one was before that. Anybody? I used to go there all the time when I was a kid, but it used to be right behind the Dothan Eagle where TPE was, right in that area.
Yeah, okay.
That's where it was.
Yeah.
I remember going when I was a kid, I could come back with stacks of books all the time.
We actually have a 75th birthday coming up in 2024. 1949 is when we went from being a subscription library. In other words, you had to pay to use the library to a true public library where ostensibly your tax dollars pay for it, and because you live here, you can get a card for free. Yes.
Story time, what age appropriate group is that? How long does it take to go through the station?
You mean the story walk?
Story walk.
Oh, it's all ages. It's the stories are typically like picture books. So you're thinking, or you're talking anywhere from age 4 or 5 up through 3rd or 4th or 5th grade. But it's self-directed. You can, I talk about my daughter a lot. I have a daughter who's 4. She can't read yet, but we'll walk from one station to the next. I'll read it to her, and then I'll walk, she'll run to the next station. And
Where is it set up?
one is in Kiwanis Park at Westgate Park, and then the other one is at Walton Park. Yeah.
You said Walton.
Yes.
How is the decision made on what new books you bring into the library?
Some of it's request driven. So if we get somebody who says, hey, I really like this author, or I really like this book, or I really like this topic, we'll find some books that are focused on those. It's the way that I look at it is it's kind of like a restaurant. If somebody, you don't go into a restaurant and the waiter guesses what you want, you tell them what you want. Say you want fried chicken and they bring you not fried chicken, not great. So part of it is request driven. That's also really the case with our ebook collection, because ebooks are so expensive for public libraries. So it kind of behooves us to listen to what people want and build a collection around that. A lot of it's also just authors that we know are popular, authors who go on, those authors whose books hit the bestseller lists. We know that those are going to be books that people want to read. We, of course, purchase a lot of those. And then we also just kind of try to stay current on what's in the zeitgeist, what topics are really popular. Is there something that's dominating the news that people might want to learn more about? Is there a book that's being made into a movie? I'll go ahead and tell you, anytime a book is made into a movie, people want to read the book more. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. We cannot buy every book. Publishing has changed a lot in the past couple of decades, so we can't purchase every single book. But we do try to stay on top of what we think our patrons are going to want. We also try to anticipate it. We buy books a few months in advance when we know, James Patterson has a new book coming out. We know we're going to want to be on the list for a few copies of that. Yes.
I should know this, but I don't. What are the major sources of funding for the library?
Major sources of funding are the Houston County Commission and the city of Dothan. That's where, and the city of Ashford. So most of our funding derives from a local appropriation. That's the term that we use. And that's all part of their budgeting process for the library as an outside agency. I think that's really important to note that the library is not a city department or a county department. We are our own entity. Some libraries are. In our case, we're our own thing. That provides the bulk of our funding. We also receive funding through the state of Alabama. As part of the legislature's budgeting process, they approve a per capita allocation, which this upcoming year is $1.16 per capita. So we receive that as well. And then the rest of it is self-generated through our friends group. Like I mentioned, they raise a lot of money that they then give to the library later. Some of it is self-generated through fines, fees, passport fees, things like that. And then some of it is also self-generated through fundraiser events like the Library Mini Golf Classic, which if you haven't bought your tickets yet, I know you'll have your phones, is dhcls.org/golf. But that's kind of the breakdown of our funding situation. Did that answer that?
Yeah. What's the budget?
Right now it's about 1.5 million for a population of 105,000. We are in the third quartile for per capita funding statewide. So when you look at, we're at about, my math is right, we're at about 28, I want to say we're about $17 or $18 per capita. But you look at places like Mountain Brook, they get as high as like $120. So the fact that we do all the things that we do with the budget that we have, again, it's loaves and fishes. We do a really good job with the resources that we do get. Bless you, I heard someone sneeze.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your service.
Absolutely, thank you. I'm gonna leave that there for anybody who may need this URL.
Thank you, Chris. Very good presentation. We're extremely blessed to have you in our community. Thank you very much. A couple things you mentioned caught my attention. I'm gonna check out the Library of Things. That sounds pretty cool. And then I play golf with a few guys in here. We might do a little challenge at the mini golf thing that includes some points that we can then put into the Camp Aska bucket the following Monday. So you know
Challenge accepted.
You know who you are. Anyway, thank you again very much. It is worth pointing out that it is Chris's 40th birthday today. So
I can't think of a better place to be than the Monday.
good birthday lunch there. So, all right, well, good deal. Thank you, Dean, for bringing the speaker today. Next week, Bill Caslin will be bringing Dave Stock. The title of his presentation is My 3 Aviation Hats. So that sounds very interesting. Looking forward to that. Also wanted to thank everybody who helped with today's presentation. Pastor Darrell Roberts, thank you for being a greeter today. Seth Brooks for the introduction of guests, and Troy Fountain for Camp Aska. Also, thank you for Dr. Wilkins for being here, and for Christopher King for being here. I hope to see you again soon. With that, if you will, please stand with me to recite the four-way test. Other things we think, say, or do.
Is the truth, fair to all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendships, will be beneficial to all concerned.